is, I just had my oral surgery, and I am restricted to soft foods. So I was, a lot of hummus, clam chowder, but I was able to finally put oyster crackers in the clam chowder the other night, and I put the bowl with the New England clam chowder and the oyster crackers in front of me, and do you know what I said?
Yes, I know.
Go ahead. What did I say, Tim?
Let me see if I can do it. Oh, no, it looks like graham crackers for dinner tonight.
Oh, no, you messed it up, man.
Ooh, it's the SETI BIMCO Halloween Slightly Frightening Satan Hour. Now with your hosts, Tim the Zombie and John the Zombie Victim. This week, John is a zombie victim.
It's oyster crackers for dinner again tonight.
Well,
okay, that's all.
This is the SETI BIMCO show. That's a good bumper. This is the SETI BIMCO show, the show where we talk to people about their embarrassing or weird high school experiences, and we talk about movies about the same thing, except once in a while, like this week. Yeah.
Well, it's getting up to Halloween.
It is, yeah.
So you said pick a scary movie, and weren't you terrified by this movie, Tim?
I was.
Weren't you just terrified? Okay, so your catchphrase is "It's oyster crackers for dinner again tonight." My catchphrase is going to be "Bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit." What were they thinking?
I don't know.
There is not one scary thing in this movie.
I thought there was, but we'll get to it.
Okay, if you say so.
Later in this episode, if you stick around for 2 hours, we're going to talk about this movie. I don't know if you want to talk about your week.
Well, outside of the oral surgery.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you want to talk about the neighbor again? I have a little bit of neighbor news. The neighbor that's up for murder too. I don't know. We haven't talked about that in a while. But apparently he's like calling the landlord down in the city, but you get that recording that you're getting a call from a correctional facility.
Right.
Apparently he must not remember my number, but the landlord's number is like a series of just like two alternating numbers, so it's very easy to remember.
Oh.
And so the landlord's like, of course I've heard this secondhand. The landlord's like, I don't know what the hell he wants me to do. I'm like, now you know what it's like to get woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
What, did he leave a message? You don't know.
I don't think he could leave a message because they have to accept it.
Oh, that's
it says like press whatever you press to accept the call.
Right.
So all he's hearing is the recording.
Yes. Gotcha.
Anyway.
That's right. Mr.
So that's about all I got. What happened? How was your week?
My week was laid back. I went on I usually do this more in the summer. Just dogs slowed me down. I did my 22-mile bike ride. I can brag about. Because we have good bike lanes here. Pretty good. Pretty much bike lanes all the way, except for that stretch past the Dakotas where I got doored once.
Oh, that 22-mile bike. Did a car open their door on you this year?
Nope. Very careful.
Okay.
When I got down near the World Trade Center, there's a bike lane there. There was a family, obviously tourists. They rented bikes. And the kids were like, Dad, I want to go see the memorial. It's right over there, right? And it was. And the dad's like, I don't know. We're riding our bikes. Come on, let's ride our bikes. And the kid was like, but we could just ride over there and see the memorial. And the father was like, no, let's stick to the bikes. We got an agenda.
Yeah, and we can come back. You can come back to the memorial. That's not going anywhere.
I don't think the dad wanted to go.
Maybe
I think he knew his kids would make funny TikTok videos. They were the same kids that went to the Holocaust Museum and made the funny videos. Or
the Pearl Harbor Memorial, or Yeah, nothing like making funny videos at scenes of, tragedy. Yeah.
I didn't see anything amazing.
Nothing.
So last time on my bike ride, we want to do our political thing where I'm the conservative. There was a big parade for the police, and some of them had those flags that, what's that flag that's like, that represents basically white supremacy. I forget. I don't know if you have this problem up there. There's a flag where they put the line in the middle, and that.
Oh, yeah. It looks like an American flag, but it's kind of like black and white almost, except for that one blue stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's plenty of that up here. Trust me.
So,
as a matter of fact, my brother went to his 30-year high school reunion in Union Springs.
Oh.
And he left by quarter after. The dinner started at 5. And he left at quarter after 7 because everybody was so outraged about the Mar-a-Lago raid and how could they be doing this to Trump? And because that's all they were talking about. He's like, I had to go. In the town of Springport where my mother lives, there's like probably about 1,500 registered voters.
Mm-hmm.
There are 9 Democrats.
Wow.
And I know like 6 of them.
That is weird.
Yeah, I am not a registered Democrat. I am registered third party.
That's fine.
The Black Panther Party.
That's fine.
Except it's very lonely for me at the meetings. Nobody will speak to me.
You'll never get a gun.
They tell everybody else, here's some coffee, have some for free. They charge me $10. They won't touch my snickerdoodle cookies when I bring them. My homemade, my famous, world famous snickerdoodle cookies. They won't touch them. I might have to find another political party. I don't know why I don't know why they're so angry at me.
Try the American Irish. I don't know what they're called.
I don't know.
Knights of Columbus.
There was the Ancient Order of Hibernians.
Yes. Pick one of those ones. I
don't know if they still have the rule. Like if you're divorced, you have to go in the back door. That's how it used to be here in Auburn.
Wow.
If you were divorced, you couldn't go through the front door. I don't know. That was as late as like 1990. I don't know if they still do that or not. Really? Oh, no. I'm not making any of this up. Yeah. Yeah. Because
you're not divorced.
Because you cannot be a non-member and walk through the front door. But at the time you couldn't become a member if you had divorced.
What door do you have to walk? What door do you
There's
walk
a back
through?
door. There's a back door. Actually, it's closer to the bar. It's closer to the dartboards. It's a much better way to come in. I don't see why they consider this punishment, but there you go.
No, I have a question. What door do you walk through if you're married but your wife owns a sex toy?
I don't know if they go that far in the background checks. Maybe they do now. I don't know.
Well, they should.
Yeah.
This institution's falling apart.
It really is. They also have the shortest St. Patrick's Day parade in Auburn. It's on the street where the Ancient Order of Hibernians is. It's 97 feet. So basically they send one float through at a time. It's from one quarter to the Hibernians and that's it. It's I don't know if it's the shortest. I know it's at least the shortest St. Patrick's Day parade in New York State. I don't know about anywhere else. It's 97. It's 97 feet. Yeah.
All you know is you start at the start of the parade. By the time you're at the end, you're drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, if you've got a stick, you barely go into second, and then you're done. Pulling your float along. I'm not making any of this up. This is God's honest truth.
He shouldn't be driving if he's drunk.
I don't know. Maybe that's why it's only 97 feet. Well, you want to get into this movie now?
It's Halloween time, though. Not going anywhere for Halloween.
Not going anywhere for Halloween. Okay.
And you won't get any trick-or-treaters, and I won't either because I live in an apartment.
Yeah, me neither. I buy the candy every year. I eat it myself.
I was going to talk about Halloween memories, but I don't have many.
I'm trying to think of what I have. I really don't either. I mean, basically trick-or-treating.
Well, you went to Catholic school in 4th grade. They were already yeah, Halloween. That's for the kids. You guys shouldn't be doing this. And we
I do
look at each
remember
other
that, yeah.
We are kids. What are you talking about?
We are kids.
Halloween's for Satan. Leave it be.
Halloween's for Satan. That's
My
right.
scary holiday was when they took me to sit in Santa's lap. I remember that was terrifying.
Oh, my God.
Give me to a strange man with a beard.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's like, I always like, people are like, I'm going to stay up and wait for Santa to come when they're kids, or the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, if I woke up in the middle of the night and some big ass rabbit was in my living room leaving chocolate, I'd be like catatonic to this day.
I know.
I'd be like, and then they'd be like, I'd be in like some institution. They'd be like, why is he catatonic? Well, he claims he saw some big rabbit in his living room one morning. How's that for a segue for our film, Tim?
Yeah, well, that didn't happen to Jimmy Stewart.
It didn't happen to Jimmy Stewart. No, he and Harvey got along really well. It is true.
That is a great segue.
I thought so.
Can I break up your segue?
Sure, go ahead. What?
Well, you know who James Burrows is?
Yeah. Cheers, and
he directed Mary Tyler Moore and helped co-create
Mary Tyler Moore. I
Cheers.
think he did all the Will and Graces too.
Yep. Well, he's got a book out and he's on a book tour.
I just saw an interview with him. Yes.
Oh, so did you hear him? I was going to tell you that it was weird that the original concept for Cheers was going to be the concept with Rebecca. It was going to be him working for a woman who owned his bar. So like this, after Diane left and they did the whole switch where.
No, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, that was what the show was originally supposed to be.
So then after 5 years, they just went back to the original concept. Well, that's why if you're a writer, you never throw anything away.
Nope. And Cliff, he said Cliff's character was originally going to be African American too, but once they put all that skin darkening makeup on John Ratzenberger, it just looked silly.
Yeah,
so they're like,
exactly.
You'd be white guy.
Because
then they wanted him.
Heaven forbid you'd hire an African American actor. No, we can't hire an African American actor, but a Caucasian actor in darkface will be fine. That'll be fine. America will love it.
Then they wanted him to play a one-armed character, but he balked at having his arms sewed off.
Oh wow!
He was very hard to work with. So finally, he was
he just wouldn't give it all for his craft.
He said, "Let me be a mailman. Let me be a mailman who secretly has 2 belly buttons." And they're like, "Okay, you can do that." Also, you never saw on the outside at the entrance to Cheers, it said whites only.
Oh.
So
I thought that was on the water fountains or the bathrooms. Was it on the front door too? Okay.
Just the front door.
Okay.
Okay, so I interrupted your...
Well, that's okay. Now,
your nice segue.
The segue.
How can we get it back? No, that's how we get it back to rabbits.
It's done. The moment is gone, Tim. It's all right. No, it's fine.
This ties in. Originally, they wanted Diane to be a rabbit, and they're like, "It's not working. Diane's got to be a human woman." There, it brings us back to this movie you wanted to watch.
I like my segue better, but anyway.
Diane was supposed to be a rabbit. I'm sorry.
All right, let's let it go now. Let's move on to the movie. I think we've milked that for all it's worth.
Oh, I don't know.
I know. Trust me on this.
So what's this movie you want to watch? And
Night of the Lepus, which is Latin for rabbit.
We learned something in this movie.
The most terrifying movie I've ever seen in my life. Bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit. Do you want to hear the synopsis from IMDb?
Yeah. People at home need to know.
Okay, you ready for this? You might want to write it down. This is the synopsis from IMDb. Giant mutant rabbits terrorize the Southwest. The end.
Yes. Well, it's because this doctor's injecting them, but we'll get to that.
We will get to that. Night of the Lepus, 1972, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. Here I thought, I saw the MGM line open up, raw. Yes. I thought, ooh, this will be good MGM. Nope. Nope. Yes, Night of the Lepus from 1972, based on a novel by an Australian author named Russell Braddon, Braddon, called The Year of the Angry Rabbit, in which giant mutant rabbits run amok in Australia while the Prime Minister uses a new superweapon to dominate the planet. So apparently they took liberties with this adaptation.
Oh, yeah.
As a matter of fact, let me just read on. This is just a quick paragraph here. The pulp narrative was played for laughs and designed as an indictment of war, nationalism, and capitalism. The novel was also notable as being part of a small revival of Australian science fiction in the 1960s. Its comic horror tone was well received, and a movie version was released in 1972 titled Night of the Lepus, a straight-faced monster movie that dropped the humor of the book.
Okay.
They took this really funny, quirky novel and tried to make it into a real horror movie.
We had
and it failed. And it failed miserably. And do you know why it failed miserably, Tim? Bunnies ain't funny, dagnabbit. Bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit. I messed it up.
Well, Janet Leigh is in this, amazingly.
Janet Leigh is in this.
And DeForest Kelley from Star Trek.
DeForest Kelley, Dr. Bones McCoy from Star Trek. And let's see here. Stuart Whitman and Rory Calhoun.
Western stars.
Stuart Whitman was an Academy Award nominee. Janet Leigh was an Academy Award nominee. Rory Calhoun really kind of basically did Westerns, yeah.
So Jerry's a mom. Roy is the dad. The sheriff is Cody.
Uh-huh.
The young girl, I forget her name now. Amanda. I know her.
Amanda.
Name.
Yep, and the rancher is Cole, the guy who owns the ranch.
And this movie has nothing to do with high school. And as with Terror or Mayday at 40,000 feet, I'm going to connect it to high school because these rabbits were being bred so that high school students could have something to dissect.
Right. Okay.
It's transcorp rabbits.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? Okay.
Like
you just said pick a scary movie, and I figured they probably all went to high school.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
no,
so
there you go.
There you go. Now that's all you need to know.
Remember that extra free bowl of chili you get with Transcom Airlines?
Yes,
it's usually 50% rabbit because the rabbits they don't sell to the schools to dissect.
You think just 50%, Tim? You think just 50%? I don't know. They said 50%, but
if I say higher, I could get sued by Transcom.
Oh, okay. Are they still in business? I don't know. Anyway, didn't they get eaten up in that TWA Pan Am merger? Oh, okay. I don't know.
Well,
all right. Yeah.
You want to start starts with a horse dying because of a damn rabbit hole.
A rabbit hole, and they got to shoot. Cole's got to shoot the horse.
That was the saddest part of the movie for me.
That was. I almost turned it off at that point. And
that's the same. By the way, speaking of Diane on Cheers, that's why they replaced her on Cheers. She stepped on a rabbit hole and broke her leg.
And she broke her leg, and they had to shoot. And they had to shoot her.
They had to shoot her.
Yeah,
they had to shoot her. All right.
Okay.
Let's move on.
I actually met Shelley Long at the Aurora Inn. When was it? About 4 or 5 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, she was there. She was staying there. She was a guest. It was somebody's birthday party. I think she was a producer. Shelley was your name. And she was a producer on General Hospital. And it was her birthday. It was like a milestone birthday. And it was like Shelley Long and like the people who own Bergdorf Goodman. And the Penske's who own the Penske race, thing.
Did you find a way to talk to her and say, by the way, have you ever met?
No, we went out. No, they got me. We went over to the Fargo across the street after the party, and they all got me totally hammered that night. I had to crawl over to one of the offices where I knew there was a sleeper sofa because I couldn't drive. Oh, no, they got me totally hammered.
But did you say to her, have you met Gregory Peck?
No, I didn't. I didn't want to make her feel bad, You
didn't want to. She didn't want to name drop.
She probably never got to drive Gregory. I'm like, yeah, you got an Emmy, Shelley Long, but have you ever driven Gregory Peck to a party? And she'd have to say no, and then she'd feel bad, and I just didn't want to make her feel bad.
That's good of you.
Yeah,
you were probably talking about soap operas with the other woman.
Actually, no. I wound up talking to. She was the daughter of one of the former Danish ambassadors to the United States.
Oh, wow. And
she's a jewelry designer. I just wound up, she spoke Danish and I spoke Swedish, and that's basically who I spent most of the night talking to.
Wow.
She was there with her husband, and yeah, we had a good old talk. But man, rich people can drink, let me tell you. I guess rich people don't have to be up to work the next morning, I guess. I don't know, but man, I was like...
They got to be up to work out.
I guess. I don't know. So anyway, Rancher Cole Hillman, he's got to take care of this rabbit problem.
Because they got rid of the coyotes, and then the rabbits took over.
Because they got rid of the coyotes, because they poisoned the coyotes.
And once they got rid of the rabbits, the carrots took over.
Exactly.
And once the carrots took over... they had to get rid of the carrots, and people had a vitamin A deficiency.
Well, the sequel of this is Night of the Carrots, where carnivorous carrots attack the
It's not scary either, John.
Bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit. So anyway, he goes to seek the help of college president Elgin Clark, played by one DeForest Kelley.
Yeah.
And okay, so did you catch this at the beginning? He's like, well, there's a young couple here, here who are studying. And I looked at when they were born, and Stuart Whitman and Janet Leigh were about 45 when they made this movie.
Right.
Young couple, I think, is kind of a stretch, but it must have been in Janet Leigh's contract, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And they are they're catching bats for some reason. They're in these caves catching bats.
Well, he was recording their sounds.
Something. I don't know what the point, but they were actually capturing them. They were going to take them back somewhere. I don't know what. They never did get into that.
He was recording their sounds. You dozed off. He was recording their sounds and playing it back for his daughter, remember? Daughter's like, what are they saying, Daddy?
Oh, in the middle of the night, she's going to sleep. She's going to sleep, and he wants to screw with her psychologically, so he starts playing sounds of bats they're in the room with her. She's like, ah, ah, ah.
Yeah, that happened too.
Yeah. So anyway, they decide to inject the rabbit with something. I guess it's supposed to not make them reproduce.
Yes, because he said, Daddy's making Jack like Jill and Jill like Jack, and I was like,
Jack, yeah.
Trans rabbits. When will the left radical ideas stop?
Yes. Marco Rubio went to see this movie and said, "This is a woke movie. This is a woke movie."
I messed that
anyway.
Up. Yeah, that's a woke movie. Anyway, let's go with that. Their agenda. I was trying to say, John.
So the little daughter decides that she fell in love with the rabbit that they injected. So while they're off at the desk talking about something, she switches the rabbits. They release the one of the ones from the control group, thinking it's the rabbit that's been injected.
She's like Houdini. They cannot see her standing right in front of them.
Right. You need to pay more attention to your children, especially when they're around animals, I would think. But, what do I know? So Cole, the rancher, and the Bennetts, they go to the watering hole, and they find this big footprint.
You missed a big plot point. She takes that rabbit out. The rabbit. She takes the infected rabbit, the rabbit who's going to grow big. The little girl takes it. Mm-hmm. And she's like, Daddy, can I have one of the rabbits you don't kill with your horrible experiments?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, I'll spare one. So she takes it out and immediately loses it.
Yeah.
It runs off and starts having sex with all those other bunnies.
And then the wackiness ensues. Because then they go out to the watering hole.
Did you doze off during the controversial rabbit sex scene?
I must have. Maybe I looked up for a second because it must not have been There were very, very short scenes, Tim. They were very short scenes. So maybe yes, I did miss the rabbit sex, or maybe I got the edited version where like I couldn't. They wouldn't let me see the rabbit sex. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, director's cut.
Yeah, the director's cut. That must have been what you saw. You must have paid money for yours. So they find this huge footprint at the watering hole. And, of course, you probably thought, as I thought, Sasquatch. But no, It's not Sasquatch.
They have a long conversation.
As we all know, I am 1/32nd Sasquatch.
I don't remember.
But no, it was not a Sasquatch. It was...
We were hoping. But then those two kids, they run off to see Captain Billy, and I'm like,
right,
Captain Billy, who lives out by himself. This has pedophile warning signs everywhere. That's what you're thinking.
Well, has he found any gold yet? Well, no, he hasn't found any gold yet, but he likes me to come out
Or is Captain? We never really saw. We did see Captain Billy dead, right? We saw his legs.
Yeah, we did. We saw him because he was actually in the mine shaft.
Okay,
Remember she went down and then she saw the big rabbit. It was kind of like
yes.
It was kind of like Mr. John Hamill in Trog.
Yep.
Went down into the mine shaft, saw the terrifying creature, and then was in bed, terrified. But yes, they did eventually find Billy's body.
You sure? I'm not sure he was real.
Well, okay. Well, because then what about the next victim? I'm going to jump ahead here.
Isn't Captain Billy an Elton John album?
I think that was Captain Fantastic. But anyway, maybe the original title was Captain Billy, like Diana was supposed to be a rabbit on Cheers.
Amanda is terrified, and this is an important plot point. I know you're jumping ahead.
Yeah.
But Amanda's mother tells us that Amanda is too sensible for imagination.
Yes.
Which is sad. That's the saddest part of the movie.
That is the saddest part of the movie. Yeah. Just wanted to break your spirit and have no imagination. That was sad.
Yep.
That was sad.
So what's the... You want to jump ahead to the trucker who was eating lettuce?
The trucker, because you were talking about fake.
I wasn't
the trucker, I don't know. Was he stalled? Why is he checking the back of the truck anyway? There's all sorts of
produce,
food back there. It's like a freezer truck or a cooler truck.
Yes.
And he gets attacked because he got and just so everybody knows, the rabbits only come out at night.
Mm-hmm.
The rabbits only come out you'd think. Anyway, so he's checking something in the back of the truck, and all of a sudden he gets attacked by the rabbits. Now they never actually show the rabbits attacking anyone except for one or two times, and it's kind of obvious that it's somebody dressed in a giant rabbit suit.
Yes, with ketchup.
We'll get to that later. So anyway, so the next day the cop comes by and the truck, the back of the truck is open and all the food has like been eaten by something, and then he looks down and you see the body of the trucker, but it looked like a broken mannequin to me, just with red paint.
It did.
I mean, they really did put no money into this. I mean, MGM. I mean, come on.
Bright red paint.
Bright red paint. Didn't even look like blood. The leg was like supposed to be severed off the body. It looked like a cracked mannequin
And that cop's touching all the evidence.
Yeah. It was 1972. What did they know?
He called the sheriff, and he's like, Sheriff, I never saw anyone cut up like that since Bob Newhart did stand up at the local rabbit torture center.
Oh, yeah. That was his third album. There was the Button-Down Mind of Bob Newhart. Yeah. There was the Button-Down Mind Strikes Again, and then Bob Newhart live at the Rabbit Torture Center. Yeah, that one wasn't as big as the other two. I don't know why.
Well, John, this is interesting you say that, because actually this is before he did that album. He hadn't yet developed those routines. Oh. He had a whole different act where he literally went on stage, he cut up rabbits and put them into a hat. It was a very experimental act. The French loved it. Once he did Button Down Mind.
the albums were initially released in France. Then when the other two albums got big, somebody decided to release that album, thinking they just catch.
The French were like,
Le lapin est mort. The rabbit is dead.
Yeah, they loved that.
The French
down line, they're like, the
French love dead rabbits. Love dead rabbits.
You're never going there, John.
Huh?
You're never going there, John.
What, to France?
Yes, you said you wanted to live there.
Oh, that's on my bucket list.
I
got my bucket list.
Let me hear your podcast. Don't.
Yeah. Well. Anyway.
What? You can only read 3 of them, right?
Well, no, I don't know what I did with
the rest. The rest are X-rated. You can read me 3 of your bucket lists.
No, it was like publish a mystery novel. It was publish a mystery novel. Win a Latin Grammy. Okay, that one might be a little difficult. What else was there? There was do Broadway. Even if I was like in the chorus, I just want to do Broadway.
Just run up on stage one night.
Oh, you know what I think I'd be good? I'd love to play a Bond villain. That would be awesome. That was another one. And then the 5th was live in Paris for a year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and there was Spend a Night with Andy Cohen, but that was just kind of an afterthought. I really don't have to do that. I mean, it'd be fun, I'm sure. But I mean,
It would be.
It was kind of like, why, what do you know?
What do I know?
What do you know, Tim?
I know nothing.
What's going around the neighborhood in Brooklyn about Andy Cohen?
I know nothing.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen him lately.
Oh, okay.
Last time I saw him, he didn't have a belt. Was trying to keep his pants up. Had a baby doll.
And walking around with a baby doll. That's right. Oh, boy. But I have lost the list with my bucket list on it. Oh, my gosh.
Well, it wasn't that important of a list, was it, John?
Well, luckily I didn't put my name on. Luckily I didn't put my name on it. Somebody has found that list and going, "What the hell is this?"
Well, they're going to do your list for you. That's the tragedy.
They'll beat me to the punch. I'll be like watching the Latin Grammys one year, and I go, "Didn't that person used to shop at Walmart all the time?" Be like, and they'd be like, "And gracias, and gracias," and I'll be like, "You've stolen my Latin Grammy."
He's like, "I'm going to France next year." It couldn't have been that important of a list if you lost it.
Well, I was reading it to somebody. They said, "You don't have a bucket." I was talking about my bucket list. I go, "Oh, come on, you're making that up." And I pulled it out on my wallet. And I was like, and I read it off to him. I'm like, "See, I got a bucket list. I got it right here."
Is this your new neighbor? Is this your new neighbor?
No, this is somebody at work. This is just somebody at work. Although I didn't mention the spending the night with Andy Cohen part.
Well, now I'm worried. You got to put up, John. You got to put up a wanted ad for your top 10, your bucket list.
Yeah,
just a list.
This is my bucket list.
John Kelly's bucket list. Have you seen it? Who stole it?
This is what's on it.
This is what's on it. This is a partial picture I have. It's got 5 of them.
Yeah, my thumb.
If you find the original,
my thumb over spend the night with Andy Cohen, and I'm not talking about like I want to be my boyfriend. I'm not talking about I want to get married to him. I just want to have one night with Andy Cohen. Is that asking too much? Anyway.
No, it's not.
But it's not a. I'd be very happy as a published mystery author, a Latin Grammy winner. A veteran of a Broadway show, even though I was only on stage for 30 seconds in the chorus. A Bond villain, even though it wasn't actually an officially sanctioned Bond movie by the Broccoli family. One of those parodies that George Lazenby still does. And I'll be sitting over in Paris for a year, and maybe.
Don't you have a lame one? A lame one on there, like? Don't you have a lame one on there, like?
Well, I think they're all kind of lame.
Have my birthday and eat the whole cake.
Oh, I've done that.
I don't know.
I will say though, the funny part about it is though, I've done a lot in my life.
You have.
Like when I was 16 years old and I, first applied for being an exchange student, I decided I was never going to say what if. I wish I had. And I got, when I went to write out the bucket list, I realized. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff I'd like to do, but I was kind of like, do a podcast. I hadn't done that yet. That was not on my bucket list, by the way.
What? That was the whole reason you said you wanted to do this.
Well,
why are you lying to me?
Well, it was until I found out you've been plotting for 40 years. Even before the medium was invented.
Right.
You've been plotting to get me on a podcast so you could embarrass me. Totally. Mission accomplished, by the way, Tim. Mission accomplished.
So the rabbits start attacking everybody, I guess.
Yeah. Poor Mildred at the general store. She's closing up for the night. She looks out, and then a rabbit breaks through the window and jumps on her. Now, that was somebody in I don't know if it was a child or what's the proper term? Little person. I don't think I can use any other word except little person.
And somebody spent a lot of time building tiny sets for these rabbits. A lot of little sets.
I'll bet you that was kind of fun, though.
Yes.
I'll bet you that was really fun doing that, like all the little. But again, you watch these little bunny rabbits, with their little noses going up and down stiff, and it's like, bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit.
Did DeForest Kelly say that? I don't know who said that.
He should have. I think it was a line that was cut. That would have been great. Bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit.
So they get dynamite and find out they're hiding in the old caves where Captain Billy. Yep. Captain Billy, who I think was just a drug. I don't think he's a real person. I think Captain Billy's a drug from 1972.
Right. Went out with Quaaludes, but anyway.
They blow up these bunnies with dynamite. So we think. Could this be the end of this 88-minute movie? They blow them up in the mine? But no.
No.
Some
of course not, because then they go, and there's this big hole. It looks like a meteor crater that the bunnies have burrowed out of. And DeForest Kelly grabs a big rock and drops it. And they're standing there for I don't know how long. And then finally you hear thud. So it's way down there.
Yes.
And it's like, what the hell? Poor DeForest Kelly.
So they don't blow them all up. The bunnies come out at night and have a rampage, right? Do they come out in the daytime?
They don't come out in the daytime because...
hard to film.
What was the name of the husband again? The Bennett, Mr. Bennett. What was his first name? Roy is somehow in town. I don't know. He's stranded. I don't know why. And he goes to the general store and he sees Mildred's body.
Oh, they're hiding out there.
Which was less mannequin looking. And they're all the big ass rabbits in the store eating all the food and everything. But they're just kind of chilling. They're not doing anything because it's not dark yet. And
he was like, I ain't seen someone all chewed up like that since Roseanne Barr performed here. all the comedian names escape my head.
Shecky Green. Shecky Green. When in doubt, always say Shecky Green.
So these rabbits, they're not too scary. I think they should have bought some scary masks, like maybe a Batman costume. It would be a little bit scarier.
How about don't make a movie about rabbits? Because you know why, Tim? Bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit.
I'm gonna have to edit that out. You've said it too many times.
It's the catch. It's the catch. Oh, Tim, that's the most entertaining part of this whole podcast this week.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do better.
Anyway,
I'm not dissing you. I'm saying we'll rise. What's it? There's a siren in your neighborhood for once. All tides rise. Let's see. All tides, rising tides, raises all boats. Is that it? A rising tide lifts all boats.
Okay.
I've confused John. He's looking at me.
Yeah, I don't understand why we get philosophical already.
And we're going to raise it.
We're talking about giant killer bunnies.
We're gonna raise your jokes. All jokes will be risen.
Okay. Oh, I see. My jokes are substandard for SETI BIMCO. But who would fart in the elevator? But who would fart in an elevator is okay.
We're getting there. So, did you get the Publishers Clearinghouse ads during this? I got 3 of them. With Steve Harvey.
No, mine was all about renewing your New York state of health, because once the COVID, once the COVID epidemic is over, you're going to have to make sure that you're registered properly because now they're going to go back to all the old rules. That's what I kept getting.
I got Steve Harvey, Publishers Clearinghouse. Still $7,000 a week for life. Mm-hmm. You got to join. So where are you? I've interrupted.
You know what? I forgot now.
Well, do you know, people, we have these movies because these movies are a table upon which John and I have a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where it goes.
It doesn't matter where it goes.
As long as we get done.
Because bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit. And so anyway, so then they decide to get everybody. They're going to electrify the railroad tracks. That's how they're going to kill the bunnies.
Man, you're jumping ahead, but yeah, that's what happens.
Well, yeah, but is there what? Then they like stop. Okay. So I'm jumping ahead. This will take like three seconds here.
No, so I just want to say they set a few of these bunnies on fire. That's all.
Well, that was kind of in the end. That was kind of in the end too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was kind of in. Then they even just like stop showing people getting killed, and they just like you just hear these police radio broadcasts. 5 people dead at the trailer park. You know, they're not even showing people getting killed anymore. You're just hearing it over the police radio. Right. So finally,
although you're doing it much better.
They go to a drive-in theater and they want everybody to come out of the drive-in theater and park along the railroad tracks because they've electrified the railroad tracks and they want everybody to turn their headlights on. So that will attract the bunnies.
They tell them to leave and help them, and they're like, "Yeah, sure."
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Tim.
People they were like sheep.
Mm-hmm. And the movie playing at the drive-in was it was MGM Presents because it was another MGM production. Mm-hmm. Every Little Crook and Nanny. And Italian-American mafioso Carmine Ganucci evicts Miss Poole and her school of etiquette from the commercial building he just purchased, the space which he wants for one of his own illicit businesses. Starring Miss Lynn Redgrave as Miss Poole, and Mr. Victor Mature, who came out of retirement to play the role. It was his first major film role since 1966. They caught me when I felt like saying "yeah," said Mature.
I looked up all this stuff too.
There's no plot on Wikipedia. No plot. This article needs a plot summary since March. They have the cast, and they do have like a synopsis on IMDb. Maybe that's a movie we need to watch. Every Little Crook and Nanny.
Maybe if I put up a plot summarization for Every Little Crook and the Nanny. I think it's and the Nanny. If I write one, maybe I'll get my Wikipedia page back.
Do you know who actually got rid of your? I think you know the person who got. It sounds like you know. Oh,
I told you. I don't know. It's they don't tell you that. So, I'm going to have all the suspects on this podcast, and until I figure out who it is, and then at the end of it, I realize it's the person I least suspect. It's my co-host.
Bum, bum, bum.
So then there was another ad for Publishers Clearinghouse.
Yeah, and I apparently, if I go back on Obamacare, I got to take care of my New York State of health.
I also had a commercial with a woman wearing a mustache, informing people about yeast infections.
Oh, I did get that one too. Yes, he's got 3. Yes. He quote unquote has 3 daughters, and it's like get on the. Oh my God! What is it? What was it? What is it called again? Anyway,
I don't know.
You know, she's scratching in a very embarrassing place. I'm saying, honey, don't be embarrassed by that. You need and whatever it is she needs
for the yeast infection. Yes.
For the yeast infection,
which is no laughing matter, but this ad
is no laughing matter, but you know,
this ad made it a laughing matter. Can I help that?
Did.
If advertisers want to make this a laughing matter, what am I supposed to do? Bite my lip?
It's like people who tried to make a horror movie with bunnies.
But you know what, John? Because
bunnies ain't scary, dagnabbit.
They're not. But because I had to watch the Publishers Clearinghouse ad so much, and DeForest Kelley is in this movie, I have the 4 different ways that the publishing clearinghouse is like Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
For the 4 ways that publishers clearinghouse is like Star Trek. Number 1, neither is real.
Oh my.
Number 2, both are fake.
Star Trek's not real?
It's not, John.
Oh
Number
my God.
2, they are both fake. Number 3.
Wait, Star Trek's fake?
Yeah. Number 3, John. Klingons and Publishers Clearinghouse have the same slogan, which is, "Today is a good day to die."
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, and neither the animated Publishers Clearinghouse cartoon or the animated Star Trek cartoon hired Walter Koenig to do any voice work.
Oh, poor Walter. and then we thought he was dead. I mean, poor Walter. Just keep, well, the only 2 people left now are Shatner and Takai. Oh, wait, no. Chekhov's still alive. Oh, I hope he's not a listener.
I hope
poor
he's okay.
guy. I hope he's okay, too.
So what happens at the train tracks? I just missed a few things there.
Oh, yeah, they basically, the bunnies fry and fast forward to, I guess, I don't know, a couple months, and I don't know, they meet up at the college, and he's like, yeah, you gotta come out sometime, and I've heard some coyotes out there howling, and
yeah, you gotta come out to the ranch for dinner.
Yeah, oh, we would like that. And then they cut to like these little rabbits coming out of their burrows, and I don't know, like there was no suspenseful music.
No,
like I guess they're not. Was it a happy ending? I don't know. You know what? The book. I might actually see if I can find a copy of the book, because that actually sounds like it was actually like interesting, because it was actually intentionally tongue in cheek. But like the plot has nothing to do with this movie.
John, don't act like you just thought of that. I know that's on your bucket list. Read the book, The Night of the Angry Rabbit.
The Year of the Angry Rabbit.
Oh, yeah. Year of the Angry Rabbit. Okay.
And then write a sequel.
You mean there wasn't a sequel?
That, number 7. After I spend the night with Andy Cohen, I'm gonna tiptoe out of his house, and I'm gonna start working on the sequel to the Year of the Angry Rabbit.
All right, and that's that movie. All the rabbits died.
That's that movie.
They caught on fire. They were electrocuted. Some of them did get blowed. Some of them did get blowed up. Yeah, some of them did get blowed up. So now it's quiz time.
I'll call it
the BIMCO
SETI Q&A.
Brain Twist.
Answering quizzes.
Theme song.
Do
you like quizzes, John?
I do love quizzes.
Brainstorm.
I'll call it SETI Q&A.
Brain Twist. The BIMCO. I love quizzes.
Answering
the BIMCO.
I'll call it
theme song.
No.
This is the part of the show that John is so happy to get through quickly.
Yeah.
I think.
Can't use my catchphrase, but boy, we got to do this damn quiz every week.
So, who from this movie would intentionally fart in a crowded elevator? I don't know if you have any ideas.
I'm just going to say, because I don't think she would, like, I'm going to go a total 180 here. I'm going to go Janet Leigh. Just because you wouldn't expect it. It's old Hollywood lore. Everybody would be like, yeah, Janet Leigh, she was beautiful and she was great in The Psycho. But man, she would always let one rip in an elevator. That's going to be the tell-all book one day.
I believe it.
Well, and then her daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis, started doing the yogurt commercials that help you poop, because she was always so embarrassed because her mother would always fart in elevators.
True. Yeah. So there's no elevators in Arizona, much like Florida in the 50s before they invented them there.
Oh, okay.
There's no elevators, but at the drive-in, they told them all to roll up their windows and turn their lights on to scare the rabbits. And you know that there were some kids that had eaten a whole bucket of popcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Probably intentionally farting.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
And like the people driving the cars almost pulled off, almost like, the farts, I got to get out of here. And that almost blew that plan.
But they do.
But they stuck it out. Give them credit. Give them credit to those kids. Watch.
That's what?
I'm just gonna say, give those kids watching Every Little Crick and Nanny credit.
Yeah, That movie must have sucked because they were like, "Yeah, you want us to leave? Okay, let's go."
You want us to go kill giant bunnies? Yeah, it's probably better than this movie. Come on, let's go.
So who would have a podcast from this movie?
I'm going to say the daughter, Amanda, when she grew up.
Do you know what it's about?
Well, it's kind of like the House Rabbit Society. Like, she just gives people tips, like, make sure that if you're keeping a rabbit in your apartment, that, like, it's got, like, a place where it feels safe, and feed it the right food, and make sure it has enough water. Make sure it hasn't been genetically engineered.
Yeah, not one of those Jill rabbits. It's Jack now.
Exactly.
None of that.
Exactly. Make sure your rabbit hasn't been like injected with a serum that'll cause it to, grow to the size of a Volkswagen, and then it will attack you in your sleep. Yeah, she just gives little helpful tips like that about rabbits in her podcast.
That's funny because I had something similar.
Oh, okay.
See, Amanda was scarred when her mother would always say to her, "You're too sensible for imagination." So she has a podcast today. Once she growed up. Once she growed up.
The rabbits, the bunnies.
What did this movie do to me?
The bunnies blowed up, and Amanda growed up.
Once Amanda growed up, she got a podcast, and her podcast would be she would talk to other people that don't have the capacity for imagination, and they would call up and say things like, "My friend Alan, he said he was coming over for a nice dinner. Next thing I know, he showed up saying he'd like to get naked with me. I can't imagine what he was talking about because I'm too sensible for imagination. Help me.
You got to beat me over the head with this thing."
And Amanda would say,
"You got to say, Amanda, I would like to have intercourse with you." I don't have time for these imagination games.
No.
Amanda, I would like to have sexual intercourse with you.
I can't imagine what that's all about. And her podcast is called "I'm Too Sensible for Imagination. Please explain that John Lennon song to me." That's her podcast. I don't know what happened to my voice. That's a cowboy. That's not like Southern drawl.
No, that's right. It's more like, Pike Goats. You got to be like a little more John Wayne in it, I think, to be kind of like a Southwestern.
Wish I could do Bob Newhart. I can't do that pause thing.
Well, but it doesn't really matter because on that album you couldn't hear him above the screams of the dying bunnies anyway. No. So, but the French loved it. The French loved it.
That's why Diana was going to be a rabbit at first. They were going to market this show to France. It was a part of an early French cultural exchange.
And Bob Newhart was going to play Sam. Exactly.
Yes. All right. Anybody would have a spin-off TV show of this?
Well, I was going to do something with like the Bennetts and the Bats. The Bennetts and the Bats.
The Bennetts and the Bats.
The Bennetts and the Bats and the da-da-da-da-da. That'd be like the theme song. The Bennetts and the Bats. But now I'm thinking the Bennetts and like the mutated carnivorous carrots. That would be like they would like every week they'd be like running away from these carnivorous carrots.
But would they eat the carrots also if they killed them? And they'd have really good eyesight.
I don't know if the carrots are. It depends what the carrots have eaten.
Right.
You don't want to eat a carrot that's eating your neighbor.
Would a carrot eat?
This kind of tastes like Bob Smith.
Would a carrot eat ketchup? There was a lot of ketchup laying around the set of this movie.
Yeah, there really was. There you go. Well, it'd be a nice spicy carrot.
And the carrots had French accents.
Mais oui.
I can't.
Because we do not want to get eaten by the big bunny rabbits.
Well, my spin-off show, listen, there's some weird coincidences here. William Claxton, he directed some Highway to Heavens. Mm-hmm. And there's a scene in this movie where a priest picks up Roy, and we never see that priest again. I don't know if you remember this. It was just like a priest. And then Roy's like, "Father, am I glad to see you?" And I was thinking, no. This priest, he has his own spin-off show. He's a defrocked preach. Oh, my God. A defrocked preach. I'm going to give up on this. He was obsessed. he was obsessed with the Planet of the Apes movie, even though the Catholic Church denounced that movie and he wasn't supposed to see it. He became obsessed, and he spent all the collection money at church buying collectible Planet of the Apes figurines. And once he saw the giant bunnies, he had a revelation, and he realized bunnies are the ones that are going to take over. The movie just got it 1 degree wrong. Bunnies are going to take over the planet, learn how to use guns, enslave humans. So he travels around Highway to Heaven, and he helps people. He helps people get off the drug known as Captain Billy.
Captain Billy.
And he wants to settle down somewhere, but after he helps people, he keeps talking about how the bunnies are going to take over, and they just run him out of town because they're tired of hearing about his bunny theories.
Right. You know the only problem with that spinoff idea, Tim?
What?
Bunnies ain't scary.
Bunnies ain't scary. But what if they got guns?
And of course, it was. And instead of asking the fourth question about Maude, this would have been a totally different movie had Maude Finley been in it. They wouldn't have needed to blow up the bunnies. They wouldn't have needed to set the bunnies on fire. They wouldn't have needed to fry the bunnies. They just would have sicked Maude Finley on this. She would have been like twisting their necks and killing them and throwing them aside. And that would have been a great ending.
That would have been. We need a better challenge for Maude.
We do need a better challenge for Maude.
Oh, my other spinoff is Cole. At the end, it's Cole Hillman who asks Roy. He's like, "Come out to my ranch for dinner. Got some coyotes out there. Got some Captain Billy I'll share with you." And Roy answers him. I don't know if you noticed the acting. Roy kind of answered him like, "Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'll do that someday." Yeah, he totally sounded like, "I'm not coming to your house for dinner."
He was totally blown about, "I'm never going to see you and your damn What, you got rabbits back out there again? Good luck, buddy."
But that's the spin-off show. Each week, Roy tries to come up with a reason not to go to Cole's ranch for dinner. Even though Roy knows that Cole has an impressive collection of those pens that when you turn them upside down, the ink runs out and you see a naked person.
Naked person. I remember that. Yes. That was a big 70s thing.
Yep. He really wanted to see those each week.
Along with pet rocks and mood rings.
There, we did it.
We did it.
Do we have mail?
I don't know. Do we have mail?
We have a letter. It's letter time. We have a letter.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I forgot to send it to you.
That's okay.
So you can't read along. It says, "Hey, Seti Bimkovites. I'm in the midst of..." We know who it is.
I know who this is from.
"I'm in the midst of listening to episode 26, Mayday in an Airplane, and was delighted to hear my name referenced both in regards for my herpetological hate mail to John and your conjecture that I am a huge Vivian Vance fan. Well, let me tell you, fellers, this. I posit Ethel Mertz could whoop Maude. Whoop her ass black and blue up and down the street. Beat Maude like a tacky polyester 70s rug. Do 6 lines off her saggy, wrinkly belly and hang her out to dry. Grab Maude, throw her in an elevator, and she's a nasty beefer right in Maude's dumb face. That is the power of Ethel Mertz. All hell Mertz. Love, your pal, New York Times bestselling author George O'Connor." And I think he admitted to me he was drunk when he wrote that.
And you think, this is why everybody always used to say, "Keep Viv away from the coke," because that's what would happen.
That's what happens.
That's what happens. She did the same thing to Vivian Leigh. She did the same thing to Betty Davis. She would just go bonkers on these actresses. Angela Lansbury to this day still talks about, Vivian Vance doing that to her when she'd get coked up. What New York Times best-selling author and friend of the show, George O'Connor, was saying was, the reason why keep Viv away from the coke.
Back when he was on the show.
That's how she would react.
Back when he was the guest co-host 2 weeks ago, he told me that the place where He-Man lives is not called He-Man Land.
Oh.
He tried to tell me what it is, but I blocked it.
You glazed over. You're like, "Oh God, He-Man, no."
I I didn't want that bit of information infecting my brain.
Right. Because we had to see our movie about giant bunnies, dagnabbit.
We talk about serious stuff here.
We do. Can you tell the people how to get up with us? Yeah. Can you tell the people
yeah. Email us, SetiBimco with an E at gmail.com. It's SetiBimco, but it's got an E. And then
it's got an
Gmail. SetiBim on the Twitters. SetiBim on the Twitters. Send us a message and follow us. Insta Seti _Bimco at Instagram. John doesn't know. John, you got to join Instagram.
I don't even go on the Twitters, man. I don't even. I don't know.
I know. You're busy. You got to go find your bucket list. That's out there somewhere.
It's out there somewhere. I you know what? Now somebody's going to start living vicariously through me and start carrying it.
I know.
Start doing the stuff on my bucket list. I would be like, oh.
Okay, John, next week, more Halloween terror with I was a teenage Frankenstein.
Ooh.
It's not that scary. It's just very anyway, I'm not going to try to say a fancy word.
Yeah.
Masochistic. Is that the right word? Masochistic. It's very masochistic towards
is
women.
A word.
Masochistic.
Some may say homoerotic. I'm not saying.
Neanderthal.
All
right, John. We're going to go.
All right, yes, let's go. Bye, Tim.
Seti Bimco is a podcast by Tim Hamilton and John Kelly. Produced by Miss Lee. Music by Tim Hamilton. This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.